All right, this is day one of the camping trip going up. This is day one of the camping trip going up to the Boundary Waters. We've got the car loaded up with the kayak, surfboard, because I'm going to be going past the Great Lakes, so just in case, we're bringing the surfboard, and then the car is just full of stuff. So let's go. Alrighty, we are on the road heading up north to the Boundary Waters, and we're gonna be in the car for probably like, I don't know, I think like 14 hours over the next couple of days. So on long car rides, I like to listen to audiobooks, and my favorite audiobook series is the Harry Potter audiobooks narrated by Jim Dale, and I have them on cassette tapes, and I've got the cassette player running to an amplifier, and I got the amp plugged into the car, so it's got power. And so this is how we enjoy a nice long car ride.
Listening Library presents Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling.
Well, folks, we are currently driving through Effingham. Shout out to all the Ben Folds fans. But we had to pull over to get some coffee from the Speedway. They were all out of half and half, so that was disappointing. And slice of pizza. Pretty solid slice of pizza as far as gas station pizza goes. It's pretty decent. So yeah. Just cruising. Alright, checking in. It's 4 in the afternoon, or evening I guess, and we're somewhere in Indiana. The plan is to drive through Michigan, probably gonna sleep overnight somewhere in Michigan, cruise the Upper Peninsula. Maybe there might be some waves on the Great Lakes, and so we've got the surfboard on top in case we get lucky and there are some waves. But that's not the goal, but if there are, you better believe we're gonna surf them. So gonna go up through there and then into Minnesota, where we'll be camping along the Canadian-USA border. So that's the strategy. I don't know how long it'll take to get there. There's not really a plan, we're just kind of cruising. So yeah, it's kind of a cloudy evening. Kind of looks like it might rain a little bit, maybe. But overall, there's been like no traffic, and it's, I don't know, pretty boring, which is good for a car ride. Alrighty, we just made it through Chicago, or made it around Chicago without any terrible traffic, which was nice. And the rain has kind of let up a bit. But I am driving a Prius with a kayak and a surfboard on the roof. And I get so many looks from people on the road passing me. And it's like a joke that, you know, people driving trucks look at Priuses and they're like, it's a Prius, you know. It's true though. Every time a truck has passed me on this highway, they give me a look like I'm the most bizarre thing they've ever seen. Like they've never seen a Prius with a surfboard on the roof. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that bizarre. God forbid somebody who drives a Prius puts something on the roof. If I was driving an SUV, or actually that's not true. I was driving an SUV down to Florida with surfboards on the roof, and this one guy on the Florida-Georgia line just had it out for me for some reason. I didn't do anything. I was just driving, cruise control. Same lane. This guy in a Toyota Tacoma with like a bunch of fishing rods sticking out the back of his truck was like trying to race me, and then like sped up and got in front of me and slammed on his brakes to try and slow me down, and then got back into the other lane and slowed down and started flicking me off. And I'm like, did I do something to offend you? Like, I don't have any bumper stickers on my car that says anything controversial or anything, so I don't know, dude. Maybe people just like see a surfboard on the roof and they're like, some damn, you know, beach bum hippie. But I feel like that's an outdated opinion to have. Who knows? I don't know. It's perplexing. I don't know what the answer is. All right, we are officially in Michigan, pure Michigan. Now, I like Michigan a lot. I've driven through Michigan many times because my younger sister went to private boarding school for high school all 4 years up here in Michigan. So I like Michigan a lot. I think it's really beautiful. It's got a lot of scenic areas around the lakes, fishing, love all of that. But like I was saying before, you get a lot of hatred on the road when you're driving a Prius with a surfboard on top, and I don't know why. I guess I just piss people off with my choice of vehicle, but they don't know I get 60 miles to the gallon. But like, we're driving through Michigan, and some guy in a black SUV in the right lane, I'm not bothering him, I'm just cruising on cruise control, didn't change lanes, didn't interact with him at all. And I look over to my right, and this guy's flicking me off, and then he points at me and he's like, and points ahead, and I'm like, can I help you? Like, I've got my lights on, my brake lights work, my surfboard is secure on the roof. What's your problem? I don't know what his problem is, but he had a problem with me. Alrighty, well, we made it up into Michigan. It's dark out now, so we're calling it a day, and we are at a rest stop, and this is the epitome of high quality stealth camping. I'm in the back of my Prius. Got enough room that I can straighten out my legs, just barely. I am 6'2", so it's kind of a bit of a tight squeeze, but it's manageable. And so yeah, there's that. All my stuff up in the front too. Keep the AC on all night. Yeah. So yeah, this is me signing off of day one, and I'll catch everybody tomorrow on the morrow. Pleasant dreams.
Have no fear, we shall rejoin our main character in approximately 8 hours.
Good morning. I actually slept pretty good in the back of the car, and this is coming from somebody who loves sleeping. I love it. Like, at the end of the day, getting ready to go to bed, laying down to crash for the night is like the best part of every day. I love it. I love going to bed almost as much as Hunter Biden loves crack cocaine. Alright, well, it's time to get up.
Alright, pulling out of the rest stop, hopping back on the highway. Back on the highway to Michigan. Hey, yeah. Right now what we're doing is the morning quest for coffee. Ooh, look at this boat. That is a sweet boat. Sweet boat. coffee. I need some coffee. I need some coffee. And none of that decaf shit. No decaf. Death before decaf. We want some caffeinated coffee. Oh yeah. You know, I think my coffee journey began in 2008. And since then, when I was 12, I think, you know, I might have missed a couple days here and there, but I think overall since 2008, I've drunk coffee every morning that I've been alive. I can't think of a reason that I would have missed my morning coffee over the past almost 20 years? Almost 20 years? No, not 20 years. I'm so bad at math, honestly. I don't even know what I'm saying. Cut. Next. Edit that out. It'll be 20 years in 3 years. Ooh. Nice little body of water, but it'll be 20 years in 3 years, so 17 years. So I think for the past 17 years, I've drunk coffee every morning that I've been alive. Now, I am following my dad. He's in his car in front of me. Like, I'm doing this trip with my father, but my father's like kind of anti-technology. I mean, he's like just a couple steps removed from Mennonites, you know, which are the more technologically advanced Amish. So he doesn't really like the whole filming everything, so he doesn't want to be on film, as he says. He doesn't want to be recorded. So I won't, but I am on this camping trip with my dad, and so I'm following him right now to get coffee. And I don't know where he's taking us, because we've driven past a Shell gas station and I believe they have coffee. So where are we going? And I'm so sorry. We're about to secure the coffee here at the Easy Mart. Well, we secured the coffee. Which means that everything is once again in balance in the universe. So now we're on the road, and it's time to listen to the next installment in the Harry Potter series. We are now on cassette tape number 4, which means that Harry and Ron and Hermione have just found the 3-headed dog that belongs to Hagrid, which I believe he names Fluffy.
This is how you use a cassette and a cassette player. For all of you youngins born in the 21st century who never glanced upon such a magical thing.
They really wanted now was a way of getting back at Malfoy. And to their great delight, just such a thing arrived in the mail about a week later. As the owls flooded into place, you'll be in for it this time, Potter.
All right, listen, I got a little Harry Potter rant here. All right, listen. If I was Ronald Weasley, I would be so pissed. Because think about it. You're from the wizarding world. You fly brooms. You know what Quidditch is. You're a big fan of Quidditch. All of your brothers are like on the house team at Hogwarts and everything, you know? And then here's Harry Potter, doesn't know what Quidditch is, never freaking rode a broom before, and he gets special treatment and is allowed to have a broom as a freshman, as a first year. and McGonagall buys him the newest deal with school money. Like, that's the other thing. I don't know if you guys remember, but McGonagall wants to win the Quidditch House Cup, and so she buys Harry a Nimbus 2000 with school funds and breaks the rule of first years not being allowed to have brooms and puts him on the team. And from Ron's perspective, it's like, this kid doesn't even know. Like, imagine you're somebody that, like, you know, has played basketball your whole life, and you grew up playing basketball and you love basketball, and then Joe Schmo, the new kid at your school, never touched a ball before, and there's like a rule that like first years aren't allowed to be on the team. They're not allowed to have a pair of Jordans, and then the school buys them a pair of Jordans. They don't even know what Jordans are, and they're allowed to be on the team. I'd be pissed. Roll tape.
Harry caught a glimpse.
Another question. Anybody know why the most common license plate in the United States, no matter what state you're in, probably except for Hawaii, is the Florida plate? Like, in the past year, I've gone to South Dakota, Missouri, Illinois, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania. I'm now going through Michigan, and I'll be in Minnesota. And everywhere that I go, there's those little orange and green Florida plates with the oranges on them. Why is that? Like, does everybody have a vacation home in Florida? Like, why? What? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Can anybody hear me? Can everybody see me? Good. All right, so I got my coffee, right? Drinking the coffee, driving. Coffee's a diuretic, so I gotta use the bathroom, right? So we pull over at a rest stop here in Michigan. I'm what the Germans call a Heimscheiser, which means I only like to use the bathroom in my house. I don't like public restrooms. I've got a lot of bad experiences with public restrooms. And when I'm in a public restroom, my body physically shuts down. It doesn't allow me to go to the bathroom. So it's difficult for me to use public bathrooms. I already don't like them. This public bathroom at this rest stop has stalls that are like 5.5 feet tall. So if you're someone who's above average, you can just peek over the side and look in at someone using the bathroom. I guess these are like stalls that somebody was like, oh, let's make the stalls really, you know, small to discourage public masturbation or something. I don't know. But I'm trying to use the bathroom, and it's like the whole state of Michigan shows up to use this bathroom as soon as I start using it. There's only 3 stalls, and there's like 6 people, and they're like walking in and peering in at me, like looking down into the stall while I'm trying to use the bathroom. And if that's not bad enough, then the janitor comes in and starts mopping the floor with his mop, and it's slipping underneath the stall, smacking my foot. I'm like, is this reality right now? I'm trying to use the bathroom, everybody and their mom is looking in at me, and now the janitor is smacking my feet with his dirty mop. I'm gonna give it a -0 out of 10 on that bathroom experience. Would not recommend. Alrighty, so we are here at the Interlochen Arts Academy, and my father and my sister are both alumni, and so we're just coming in here to check it out, walk around for old time's sake. I haven't been here since my sister graduated in 2017, and that was a really awesome graduation ceremony. It was very, very cool venue. So yeah, here we are. Now,
I came up here a handful of times during my sister's academic years here at Interlochen, but one of the years that I came up, it must have been around 2015 or 2016, and I drove up by myself in December to pick her up for Christmas break. And I was staying at a hotel in Traverse City, and there was this bartender who was wearing a Red Wings hockey uniform, and being from Pittsburgh, growing up with the Lemieux family and Sidney Crosby living in the town that I grew up in, I was a big Penguins fan. Plus we won the Stanley Cup a handful of times when I was growing up there, so I was a big Penguins fan. I got in a bit of a tit for tat with the bartender guy because he was wearing a Red Wings uniform and he saw that I was a Penguins fan. When my sister started school here, we drove her up and stayed at a cabin around this lake that this campus sits on. And the cabin didn't have any internet, didn't have a TV, so we couldn't watch a movie or anything while we were up here dropping her off. And I had known that that was going to be the case. And I grew up going to the library, and so I would rent stuff from the library all the time. And so I rented, for the first time, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien on audiobook. And like you saw in the beginning of the vlog, I have always loved the Jim Dale narration of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. But up until that point, I had never listened to The Hobbit. And I love The Hobbit. It's one of my favorite books, along with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so I always have an associative part of my brain that associates Interlochen or visiting the Interlochen area up in Michigan with an unexpected journey or a hole in the ground. But not a dirty hole that has oozing smells and stuff, but a hobbit hole, which means comfort, warm food, and something else like a fire or something. I don't really remember, but you get the gist. But of course I also associate Interlochen with Harry Potter, because at that time when she started school here, I was in around the height of my Harry Potter obsession with the audiobooks, and all the movies were coming out at that time, and I was like the same age as the characters as the movies were coming out, so it really hit my generation in the sweet spot. But Interlochen, at least dropping her off, was very reminiscent of when all the kids start going to Hogwarts, because moving her in, it was like chaos at King's Cross Station, just people everywhere, you know, with luggage all over the place, trying to get everybody in. And Interlochen has a lot of international students, and so it was very reminiscent of the Harry Potter books. And so it's always been a very cool place in my mind, and I think that my sister definitely got to experience a very cool and unique academic experience for high school. I guess if we're talking about things that I associate with Interlochen, I'd also have to say that I associate Dustin Hoffman and Simon and Garfunkel with Interlochen, because one year, I think it was autumn, we came up here to drop her off for school, and we were staying in Traverse City, and there was an old movie theater that would play classic movies, and this evening they were playing The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman. If you know that movie, the whole soundtrack is done by Simon and Garfunkel, and I had never seen that movie before, but I was a big fan of Simon and Garfunkel's music, and so I really love that movie, and now I associate it with Interlochen. So whenever I come up here, I'm usually thinking about Scarborough Fair or Mrs. Robinson.
This is Interlochen. This is a pretty nice private boarding school, if you ask me.
What a special place this is.
Indeed. Very lovely. I mean, you got a beach. It's a beach.
It's unbelievable.
Nice little sailboat out there. I wish I could zoom in on that. That whole thing though, very new, schwanky. In order that we can all leave this vlog a little more enlightened than when we arrived, I'm going to read this plaque. Here we go. Interlochen. Ottawa Indians once lived in the pine forest between lakes Wabakoness and Wabakoneta. In the late 1800s, white men, not those pesky white men again, came and cut the pines, leaving only a small forest between the lakes. This virgin pine was purchased in 1917 by the state and became part of one of the first state parks. When the lumber era ended, the Wiley Cooperage Mill occupied the Indian Village site, making barrels until the hardwood ran out. Willis Pennington's Summer Hotel, opened in 1909, was popular with fishermen until automobiles and better roads drew them elsewhere. Then, in 1918, Camp Interlochen, one of Michigan's first girls' recreation camps, was opened, followed in 1922 by Camp Penn Lock for boys. In 1928, by arrangement with Willis Pennington, Joseph E. Matty, and Theodis P. Giddings, established the National High School Orchestra Camp. It grew rapidly in scope, size, and reputation, becoming the National Music Camp in 1931 and affiliating with the University of Michigan in 1942. Interlochen Arts Academy was chartered in 1960 to provide year-round training in the creative arts. There you have it. That's what the plaque said. Back to the scheduled tour of campus. All right, well, that's it for Interlochen. That's the campus tour. And now we are out of here. Beautiful place.